Travis Wayne Goodsong. Moroni, chapter 10, verse 4. He will manifest the truth of it unto you by the power of the Holy Ghost. As I've gone over with you, Mormonism has a different interpretation. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has a different interpretation of the Book of Mormon than I've been presenting for you. Question is, whose manifestation shows who's right? Just read to you. So let's see. It's in Matthew. Seven. Yeah, I had it right the first time. There's the passage about false prophets, how to identify them. You shall know them by their fruits. Fruits are the manifestation of a seed. And so, as a seed, you do not know whether the fruit is good or bad. You have to manifest the seed into a fruit. And then you may know whether the seed was good or bad. And so, how do we manifest which of us are right? Well, again, you manifest it. And so, the church's position. Are we in the latter days? Nelson says yes. And so what is supposed to happen for the latter days? Well, in the coming days, Jesus is coming. Well, when? Oh, well, no man knows the day or the hour. And again, it's all vague. It's all general, it's not specific, and thus it's open to interpretation. There is nothing set forth to plant his seed to know the fruit by which he may be judged. He's still trying to play it safe. He's holding things back from Mormons. Whereas mine, the Book of Mormon, as I've gone over with you, says that it is written in the learning of the Jews, and that it is a book of prophecy of the latter days. And so I've gone over with you how it ties to the book of Revelation, so that 1 Nephi chapter 1 is 2017. I can be tested. Oh no, I might be wrong. It's well past the date. I'm right. And so my manifested fruits show that I am good, I am true. Nelson, however, won't even show. Now you know the difference between us by the manifestation of my fruit. I allowed myself to be judged. Nelson will not. But Nelson has revealed things by which he can be judged, in so doing what he's doing. And first we'll give you an example. This shelter was purposely put in this location, not just because nobody else in this valley wanted it in their neighborhood. It was placed here specifically because it's near a mental housing official offices, as well as the Salt Lake County Jail. And there's also a youth jail as well. They don't call it a youth jail. They again call it a different name like the shelter. It's an emergency resource center. And now it's not even a men's resource center. It's now the Pamela Atkinson's resource center. And apparently, they're doing a little thing today to help guys tell them what resources they do provide. As I'm hearing over the intercom saying that you can buy hygiene and clothing. You have to buy it. I can go out and buy it myself. Because there's certain needs that I have. For example, deodorant. I have to have deodorant. I can't have antiperspirant. If it has antiperspirant, I can't have it. I'm allergic to the chemical that is used in antiperspirants. And so I break out in a rash, it burns. And so anybody who doesn't want to believe me and purposely trick me into using antiperspirant are purposely trying to torture me and cause me harm. And so, yeah, I get my own stuff. But if you listen to the government, they always talk about, oh, we need to help the mentally ill. We need to help those who are homeless. But the manifestation is evident in this central location where we, as homeless, are next to the mental home and the jail. That's how they think of the homeless. That's the manifestation of how the state of Utah thinks of the homeless. The seed of thought is manifested in the physical building locations. We now know them by their fruits. So when they come out and lie to us saying that they're trying to help us, yeah, we can call BS. Because they consider us criminally mentally ill. By their fruits, we now know them. And so Senator Lee had his debate with McMullen. McMullen called him for attempting the coup on America. Mike Lee got offended. No, I didn't. Yeah, you did. We got the emails with Mark Meadows. We know you by your fruits. Your inner thoughts was manifested in those text messages to Mark Meadows. And they were plastered on the rooftops for all to know of your wickedness. Your attempted coup of America. We know Mike Lee by his fruits. And anybody who votes for him, knowing of his fruits, are like-minded. So, Nelson. He's the president of the church. He must be a good guy. Yet, let God prevail. The Jewish translation of Israel has been replaced. Who replaces the Jews? White supremacists replaced the Jews. Nelson replaced the Jewish translation of Israel. We know him by his fruits. There's also an audio recording of him as a racist. It was back when he was an apostle. He gave a talk at BYU, and he talked about how the BYU students must marry their own kind. They can't intermarry with other races because there are too many problems that can emerge. Oops. We now know you by your fruits. That's how you truly think about those of color. And so when he's doing a photo shoot with the NAACP leaders, we know it's a cover for what he truly thinks. And it was manifested again not too long ago when he came out and donated $10 million to help black kids through their education through the NAACP. And then the next day, Jeff Bezos' ex went and donated billions to help black kids. And so if it hadn't have been for her, you might have thought, oh, okay, they're throwing out millions here and there. But if you didn't know the total asset value of the church and how much they're hoarding, as the whistleblower told us, they're hoarding it for the second coming, which is now, and they're still hoarding it. Yeah, and so we can go to the Bible to know exactly the manifested fruits of this, because the Pharisees were doing the exact same thing the church is doing. And so the church is manifesting themselves as Pharisees manifested themselves in the text of the Gospels. We know them by their fruits. It's a simple doctrine. It's a simple concept. And yet we are living in a society where people just deny. Nope, not true. Truth isn't true. Reality isn't real. Nope. And all they're doing is causing contention that seeks to overthrow mankind and our government and enslave people. And that's the sad reality that's being manifested. And I worry because after each attack, they lie in wait for the next one. And so after overthrowing Roe v. Wade, for example, the MAGA GOP manifested their thoughts in overturning it. We now know them by their fruits. And now they're lying in wait until the next attack. And nobody whose rights have been overturned are still fighting. They gave up. Where are you? Oh, the liberal press told you to show your voice at the election for the midterms? Now you're under attack. Not in the future. Now. Don't let it be normal. This is how they win. This is a war tactic. You're getting your ass kicked. C'est la vie est simple. And so the Book of Mormon likewise tells us what fruits to see from the great and abominable church. And Nelson gave it to us. He gave us minister, well, in his solemn assembly. As I went and over and did a review video of that. It's from the Latin, which means slave. And Nelson, in taking the high priests, moving them into the elders to do away with the high priest group, nobody was believing me back then. I saw it. And I knew the scriptures behind it. He took away the high priesthood. He was grandfathering out those who are already high priests, and thus elders just, nope. Only if you become a leader. And 76 makes it very clear the importance of becoming a high priest. If you miss it in the Book of Mormon as well. Alma chapter 12, I believe. And then Book of Abraham. Abraham sought to become a high priest. There's a specific purpose of becoming a high priest, and the church took it away. Nelson took it away. And he made us slaves as priesthood holders. We are now slaves. And what does the Book of Mormon say about the great and abominable church concerning Mormonism? Makes them slaves. Bondage. And so, the church is filthy rich. Great and abominable church, filthy rich. They're all over the world. Churches all over the world. Filthy rich. Neglecting the poor. You can't say they're not neglecting the poor, because there are poor. We're right here in Utah at a homeless shelter. These are poor. The church is filthy rich. There are poor here. They're not given the resources to not be poor anymore. You can't lie to me and gaslight me to say that there are no poor, that the church has made everything perfect. Because instead, what you do is you then throw in the fascist ideology of, well, they need to pull themselves up by their own bootstraps. They need to get a job, get a haircut.
Cameron Edwards, please come down to the clinic area, please. Cameron Edwards, come down to the clinic area, please.
And all those hate comments that they throw out to make excuses to not helping the poor. And then they get exposed of lying when they said that the church is helping the poor. So yeah, the church is helping this place. They donate food, which then is used for our food here through the food bank. But we're still poor. The church's help is insufficient. And like I said, the percentage of the church's total asset value makes their help like the Pharisees concerning the widow and her 2 mites. They're not giving enough. They need to be giving more. And you say, well, why? You're not reading your scriptures. Jesus talking to the rich man. Give away your substance. The church is the rich man. They're not giving away their substance. They're a church, and they're not giving away their substance. And then they come out with the excuse, well, we're following the parable of the talents, which means they're holding it for Jesus for his second coming. But it's here, it's now. What happened? They didn't do it. They're wolves in sheep's clothing. We know them by their manifested fruit. And for Mormons to continue to deny and to attack me makes the church incited them into Manchurian candidates or assassins for the church, to seek out and destroy, to cause harm to other people, to abuse us, because Mormons refuse to study their own scriptures to learn the truth. They just give lip service saying that the Book of Mormon is true and don't have a clue that they're lying to us. They're giving lip service that Joseph Smith was Christian when he was Jewish. The Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus when it says it's Jewish literature and it's prophecy of the latter days. You're denying the manifestations that are right before you. And you're purposely trying to get the rest of us to believe your lie. You have become the enemy. The church made you the enemy. The question is, are you going to pull out? Or are you fully gone?